Bringing Home the Skin, year 2035 AD. Good evening, Mr. Armando, and welcome back home, said the butler with vigorous frankness while simultaneously pretending to open the automated apartment door. Good evening to you, Benito. The bath is already prepared, with the water temperature and essences set to your preferences. In the kitchen, you will find lasagna, salad, trifle, and seasonal fruit, should you feel hungry. I'll eat after the bath, thank you. You seem tired. Is there anything I can do for you? Yes, you could do something. Stop seeing that Claretta and show more respect for Lady Rochelle, Armando teased, without much conviction. With all due respect, that is none of your business, Mr. Pasacantando, and besides, we both know that I, and they, are all happily deceased. Even though I'm merely a software program, do you think it's that easy to crash me? Despite the fatigue accumulated from the mission and the long journey he had just completed, Armando couldn't suppress an expression of sincere admiration. After 4 days away from home, he had grown used to deferential and respectful holograms. The butler in his home, however, was a luxury product, and if not for the blue aura and the improbability of his role, it would have been difficult to distinguish him from a real human being. It was the latest trend among wealthy families to use OLO holograms of powerful figures from the past as butlers and secretaries. Statesmen and 20th century personalities were the most popular choices. Just over a month ago, Armando and his housemates had made a significant investment, upgrading their domestic package with the latest holographic technology. He would have preferred something international. It would have been great fun to torture figures like Donald Trump, JFK, Margaret Thatcher, Martin Luther King, or Mikhail Gorbachev, but Ivo had adamantly insisted on a package of Italian historical figures from the 20th century. When the old man made a decision, there was no room for objection, and that package was chosen over the 20th century International Personalities package.
The 20th century Italy Historical Figures package offered a selection of 15 prominent figures from politics, economics, and crime: Sandro Pertini, Bettino Craxi, Gianni Agnelli, Silvio Berlusconi, Giulio Andreotti, Benito Mussolini, Palmiro Togliatti, Antonio Gramsci, Maria Montessori, Angelina Merlin, Grazia Deledda, Oriana Falassi, Emma Bonino, Toto Rina, and Rafael Cudolo. When the Amazon technicians set up the My Friend operating system, Ivo had requested the general settings to disable the introduction and farewell scents. The 75-year-old believed generating those scents was just a waste of energy, and besides, those odors triggered sudden and undesired bouts of melancholy in him.
Armando and Lucio didn't share his opinion, of course, but since the default scents for such OLOs smelled like musty farts, old newspaper, and sawdust, they had no issues complying. The domestic assistant package they purchased from Amazon was the most expensive on the market, equipped with A+ personalization. It represented the pinnacle of technology, even used for intelligence consultancy, military operations, and industrial marketing. After all, the Pasacantandos of Via San Vitoli certainly didn't suffer from financial constraints. Each OLO in their package was meticulously programmed with all the private life details of the historical figure they represented, and they possessed extensive knowledge of the interests and skills their real-life counterparts had demonstrated in their respective roles. Beyond this, all the characters were updated on the latest historical and scientific developments and responded to conversations with speed, relevance, and detailed accuracy. Researchers hired by Amazon's programmers had poured an impressive amount of data into the source servers. To make the experience realistic and give the impression of conversing with a complex and irrational human being, A+ personalization didn't even require additional personalities to be added to the characters. Owners of cheaper packages, however, often resorted to improbable collages, configuring conglomerates of personalities to create well-rounded and unpredictable personas, which otherwise would appear flat and predictable. If Armando had wanted, he could have even argued to exhaustion with the dictator from Predappio. He could debate endlessly, but it would only take the keyword Dongo 45 to make the hologram docile, obedient, and receptive again. Know what I think, Benito? I think I've had enough of your ugly face for today. Bring Giulio here, please. Ah, you want the sacristan? I'll call him immediately. He'll be thrilled to see you, Benito replied. Armando turned toward the coat rack and, exhausted as he was, didn't bother responding to the sarcastic comment of Mussolini's OLO, who promptly left as commanded. Shedding his jacket, Armando headed toward the wooden staircase leading to the upper floor. As he passed by the massive library covering nearly every wall of the spacious living room, he saw Andreotti already waiting for him, stiff in his typical hunched posture. "Welcome back, sir. How was your trip?" "Good evening, Giulio. It was a grueling trip. I had a tough matter to handle. I hope everything went well. Predictable disasters and calculated damages. Nothing sensational, as usual. Are you sure? You seem quite worn out." "Actually, Giulio, I lied to you. It was a real disaster. Only through 70% prudence and 30% luck was I able to bring home the skin and remain in one piece. I'm glad to hear it. If I had you as a collaborator in my day, if you had me by your side, dear Giulio, that puppet Scalfaro would never have become president of the Republic, that's for sure. Best not to dwell on the past. You're right, I don't want to torment you, at least not today. Where's Ivo?" "He's in his study with Lucio, analyzing a section of recent history." "Why Ivo doing it himself? Wouldn't one of you have sufficed?" "Lucio is always so delighted to talk to Benito. Because she reminds him of the grandmother he never had," asked the seven-time Prime Minister. "Are you this indiscreet with everyone?" "Ivo wouldn't allow it, and I wouldn't dare with Lucio." "I should hope so. Anyway, I see you permit yourself quite a lot with me. Shouldn't I, sir? Update me on the mail instead, which is what you should be doing. Maybe tell me what significant events occurred in my absence." "No messages for you. Something interesting did happen, though. Lucio had some trouble outside school and was involved in a scuffle." "How did it happen? Is he okay?" Armando asked worriedly. "Nothing serious. He just has a scratch on his cheek, and the other boy got away with a black eye. It could have been much worse, considering the absurd training you subject that fine young man to. Spare me your commentary and tell me how it happened." "All over a girl. I don't like that. I must say, Ivo handled the situation well. Naturally, I was present when he spoke with Lucio. Under the current family privacy settings, I can reveal that Ivo used you as an example. I never imagined you were so headstrong as a young man." Giulio chuckled under his breath, and Armando looked irritated, then shook his head, deciding he was too tired to put him in his place. Ignoring the remark, he headed upstairs to Ivo's study. As he approached the study's entrance, he heard someone speaking English inside. He knocked gently, and after hearing Ivo invite him in, he opened the door.